become pregnant, since I've spoken out against it, they have come to me and asked if I could share vaccine information with them, because they haven't really thought about it before, or they are worried about it, or
That's great.
yeah. So that's made it sort of rewarding in a way for all the hours of hundreds of hours reading,
and
studies and everything.
We're all in that position. Anyone who doesn't vaccinate, we've put hundreds of hours of research into reading the facts and reading about the ingredients and then reading the horror stories and the horrible stuff that can happen when you do vaccinate. Yeah, I
wish I was friends with a medical student. I'd love to see how many hours their 7-year uni degrees actually dedicate to vaccines. From what I've heard, it's mostly it's sort of not a big part of their curriculum. It's they sort of just talk about how great vaccines are and how they've supposedly helped with disease eradication. But yeah, from what I've heard, they don't go into the specifics of vaccine ingredients and toxicity and adverse reactions and informed consent as well, which is would be great if they did.
Yeah, I can imagine as well a lot of the information they would get on research of vaccinations would be from the companies themselves that produce the vaccinations, which, as we talked about, seem to be manipulated. And
like the university courses are obviously government funded. I don't know if they all are, but I'm sure the vast majority are. And our government obviously has, by and large, vested interests and are very pro-vaccination. So even us, a person of the anti-vax group that we belong to, shared a part of her homework for a naturopathy course that she was doing, and because that was government funded, even they had to speak somewhat glowingly about vaccines. Which was super interesting.
Yeah, in terms of coercion and things, like even these courses are being manipulated, by the government and other big companies. It's not just, I guess, the people, parents, and it's on a bigger scale than that.
Yeah, and if you look at what is happening at the moment as well with natural therapies being really affected as well by...
Targeted,
that's the word I was looking at. But especially by not being allowed to be part of the health insurance, you won't be allowed to claim any natural therapies, as far as I know. On your health insurance. And if I look at my health insurance, then that's all I use it for. I don't actually use it for anything
what's the point
else.
then?
What's the point?
I'm actually going to do an episode on that in the future as well.
Okay.
If you want to tune in and have a listen to that.
Okay.
I don't have health insurance personally, so it'll be interesting to hear.
Neither do I, so it's new to me. I'm going to talk to people who know what they're talking about. In terms of informed consent, medical informed consent, I'm just curious. I don't know, because you said, Maddie, that you vaccinated your first son, and I don't know if you considered or even talked to your doctor about it at all.
No, we had already pretty much made our minds up, but they still, they didn't provide any information. And even actually when our daughter was born, we didn't actually know about the vitamin K shot. And that was sort of like pushed onto us at the time, and we were like, oh, what is it? You know, what's in it? And they told us that it was just pure vitamin K and nothing else.
Okay.
And which so and they said if there's too much in it, it just gets excreted out, like a multivitamin or whatever. But so we in the heat of the moment, we just said yes to it because they said the benefits of it and everything, and we were pretty suspicious of it, but we just wanted to get through the birth. And then afterwards, I obviously looked it up, and what they had said, like, it wasn't just that they hadn't given me the information or enough information. They like completely lied about the vitamin K shot and what's in it, and it's actually like pretty toxic. It's got like a black box warning for for how hazardous it can be, as well. I can't remember the specific ingredients, but it had a number of suspect toxic ingredients. So I was pretty angry about that. And it's just, where is the informed consent? We didn't get any of it. When they did ask about if we were vaccinating, we just said, sort of almost laughed and said no. And I guess luckily for us, a lot of people haven't had this, but they accepted that decision and didn't, try and make us feel bad about it or anything. They just sort of left it. Whereas a lot of people have had like horrible experiences with like doctors just being like, well, your kid's going to die then. Which is like, so it can be further from the truth. So I haven't had good experiences with informed consent. I don't know if you have, Maddie.
Mine was obviously both my children are very far apart in age, so 8.5 years ago when my first son was born, like I said earlier, I was handed some information from someone, by someone, and I looked at it and I thought, wow, this is what's in a vaccine, gee. And I handed that information to my then partner, who wasn't even interested in reading it and just was like, no, our child's going to be vaccinated, that's it. And we would kind of get in social situations and gatherings where he'd say, can you believe Madeline's even considering not vaccinating? And I would end up being targeted by the whole table.
Oh my God.
And, if that happened now, I would have a very different voice. But back then, when it was all brand new to me, and then I felt, it all just felt wrong. And so I remember going to the doctor with my little one. I refused any vaccinations at birth. So I had a beautiful pregnancy, amazing natural drug-free birth at a birth centre, and the last thing I wanted to do was vaccinate my child right after that amazing experience. So I had put that in place so that definitely wasn't happening. So the first time that I came up against that, being in front of a doctor, and I did have some questions for her. So I said, are your children vaccinated? And she said yes. And I kind of asked her what vaccinations they'd had, and they'd had all their vaccinations apparently. And there was some other questions that I asked her as well, and I can't even remember what they were because it was such a long time ago, but I remember the big one I was really interested in because she was a mother and because she had children. I just wanted to know if her kids were vaccinated, if she believed in what she was in what she was doing. And so I did it, and I just felt like I'd done something wrong. I went home and I cried. I lay beside my baby who just slept for hours and hours and hours, who never slept. And suddenly he was sleeping for hours and hours. And I just cried beside him because I just felt like I'd done something wrong. And then I was kind of just in that cycle of being part of a mother's group, and everyone was vaccinating, and if you don't vaccinate, well, of course you don't vaccinate, that's what people do. And again, it was just a very different time, and I was I was just a different person back then, I guess, whereas now it's just, I've opted out of the mother's group situation, because I knew that was going to be an issue for me, and I knew that I'd probably be the minority, if not the only one, who was not vaccinating. And so
Luckily, I'm not allowed in mothers' groups.
Yeah. There are fathers' groups out there too.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into those, but...
Yeah. So I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it was just about informed consent. You said you asked all the questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they inform you about the risks of vaccinating?
They gave me, I remember getting a handout and seeing all the possible side effects.
Oh, so they did give you like the vaccine insert.
I asked for
That's like rare.
Yeah.
Now.
Was it an insert or was it just like a fact sheet?
Oh, sorry, it was a fact sheet. Sorry, it wasn't an insert. It was a fact sheet.
So they might have just said possible side effects, headache.
But even that though, I didn't want my precious little baby to have. So again, it just gave me that feeling in my body of, oh my god, this is like going against my motherly instincts. And
imagine if it had SIDS,
yeah,
autism written on it, like some inserts.
Yeah, exactly.
As well as other things.
There's something else I was going to say there. It's gone. That's okay. So one vaccinated child, one non-vaccinated child.
Yeah.
In our family.
Yep.
And so.
Well, it's awesome that you were like questioning it from the start, though. Like good instincts.
Yeah, there's a bit of guilt there for me, I have to say, that I have vaccinated my first child.
Yeah.
Because although the effects of a vaccine might not be immediate for some people, there's certainly a lot of questions to be asked for what that holds for their future in terms of their immune system. You know, there's a lot of information out there about people with autoimmune disorders, which can be linked back to vaccines.
Definitely.
So yeah, I just try and keep him as healthy as possible, you know.
Yeah, well, that's probably the main thing. Yeah. Like if you're doing healthy practices day to day, then, you know, that's like surely, going to be override a lot of the whatever, if the vaccines did do damage or,
Yeah, and he has food sensitivity, so maybe there's some link there, maybe not,
like the peanut oil thing. Have you heard about that?
In the vaccinations?
Yeah, like right, it's not listed as an ingredient, but apparently it's used in the manufacture, the peanut oil. Which, and if you look at like the vaccination schedule and peanut allergy, it's like, it's pretty sort of similar amounts, like, or similar rise and rates, as well as like a lot of people are allergic to latex.
Yep.
And some vaccine vial seals latex. Okay. So as they put the needle into it, tiny fragments of latex disperse into the vaccine and into the needle. And obviously then that vaccine's injected to elicit an immune response, or that's what they're trying to do anyway. So if your body's like getting a dose of latex at the same time, it's going to be like...
Just learning how to attack it.
Yeah, and same with the peanut oil. Like, so I think they're pretty related. Like food allergies are getting more and more common.
And you're injecting it straight into the bloodstream. It's not like your digestive system where you can filter out.
Yeah, I think
toxins.
Like pro-vaccine advocates try to say it's not directly into the bloodstream, but it's still, you know, straight into your body. It's bypassing like digestive, you know, all these other natural, like our body's filters. And they say it's injected into the muscle, but, you know, the muscle's fed by blood, isn't it? So, it is effectively into the bloodstream, really.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it'll be absorbed by the bloodstream.
Yeah.
And who knows the long-term effects of all of this, you know, like I was saying, being injected into our body, you know, like aborted fetus cell DNA.
Permanent? I think that's like, the DNA is like a permanent, that's like in you.
Yeah,
you know,
and other animal cells and DNA, as well as formaldehyde and mercury and aluminium and you know, all this scary stuff that if you picked up a packet of food and you saw that in the ingredients, you would be like, oh, I'm not going to give that to my child, especially not in the dosages, that was even a word, especially not in the doses that it's injected. You know, like I don't know the exact number, but you know, for a newborn